Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Solana is consolidating at a pretty high level, and we can see that Solana is forming higher lows and lower highs. So we might be dealing with some kind of a small triangle pattern here. As you can see on the chart, we can easily draw some trend lines here on these nanostructures to identify here that we are in a consolidation phase, basically a small range between $142, which is the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement, and yeah, you would say the latest high, which was at $153. Yeah, so it's basically just consolidating in this triangle sideways range, holding above the short-term upper support area, which is defined between $142, which is the Friday low, and $134. So we are still holding above that range. And as long as we are holding this particular range, my immediate focus is on higher towards the $174 level. There is, by the way, most likely some resistance around 158.80. But the $174 level is sort of the next milestone target on this chart here, as long as we're holding the $134 upper support level, basically, okay? Even if we break below 134, we could still continue to climb higher, but then not in the orange scenario, but instead in the yellow scenario, for which I've added the yellow support zone a little lower. It's just a different way of counting the entire move to the upside from the January lows. Yeah, it's in the yellow count, and you will know that if you watched previous videos. In the yellow count, we're dealing here with a larger diagonal pattern to the upside, in which we would probably struggle to get to the larger degree target around $190. There's some Fibonacci confluence there, different ways of measuring targets, and many point towards that $188 to $190 range. So there is some Fibonacci resistance up there, so it's worth watching that. And in the very short term, obviously, I'm looking for higher prices either in the orange count, which at the moment appears to be leading because the market seems to be forming a bullish pennant. Yeah, so after a fairly strong increase, again, sideways consolidation looks a bit like a bullish pennant, which could continue its increase towards the $174 level. That is the minimum target for orange wave 3. But the condition is that we're holding the upper support range. So even if the triangle breaks to the downside, as long as we're holding one of these Fibonacci levels here, the orange scenario is not affected. In the yellow scenario, however, we allow for a deeper pullback into the region between $129.60 and $118 basically. The problem I have is I cannot clearly distinguish between the two at the moment, but there is a very clear level that allows us to distinguish between the two, and that's the $134 level. So if we break below 134, I have to say, okay, it's probably not the orange scenario. It's most likely the yellow one, which then allows for a deeper pullback, but still further upside, at least closer towards $174. The exact target then for the next move up in the yellow scenario can only be determined once we have the B wave low in place. But still, on the larger time frame, there are a few levels that point towards that $190 range. Looking at the daily chart, let's see if I have it open, or weekly chart here. This is the weekly chart, shows you the long-term outlook. You can see here that around $190, there's the 38.2 extension level of waves 1 and 3 together. This is a key target for wave 5, in which we currently are. That wave 5 could complete a wave C of a larger B wave. That means a more substantial top. Or, and that is the more bullish interpretation, which is absolutely reasonable, especially because we are still in a bullish market and we probably have not reached the bull market top, it could complete a larger degree third wave, which would result in a fourth wave pullback and then another wave 5 to the upside. That fourth wave could possibly come into the region of the previous wave 4, but we will not be able to calculate a target until we have topped there in wave 3. And then we can continue to climb to all-time high targets, yeah? As soon as wave 4 here has bottomed. That might be the last major opportunity to add positions before a run to all-time highs. But that's sort of the long term. Also, you know, there is quite a bit of confluence around 188, 189, Because what's also possible, let me just double check that. Yeah, it's a 2.618 extension level of that 1-2 setup. Common target also, you know, it's very much extended, but it's a common target for a wave 5. It's at $190 basically. I didn't draw them very accurately, but it's basically around 190. So there is some Fibonacci confluence there, which is worth watching for, yeah, and worth observing. And yeah, let's see if from that initial AB or 1-2, that's pointing towards 320. So there is additional confluence then around that 61.8 extension level, 2.618 extension at $320. So 188 on the weekly seems to be significant, or 190 seems to be significant Fibonacci resistance. And then above that, obviously the all-time high is there structurally, but then 320 in terms of the next main Fibonacci level or range above. But that's sort of something that we now need to observe, obviously, very, very closely as we're climbing higher towards all-time highs. And here you can see, actually very important, that on the weekly chart, you see that when we look at the larger structure, here 150 is a structural resistance level as well. So there's no surprise that we get a little bit of consolidation just below a breakout point here. It's this swing high from March 22. So getting above that could send us fairly quickly to 188, I think. That's my update about Solana. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.